the hostages would not be released. I wish that I could predict when the hostages will return. I cannot. So by the time Tuesday came along and the election day, President Reagan got almost about 50.5%, not quite 51%, but my support had dropped about 10 percentage points. And this was obviously a very serious disappointment.
It is perhaps only human nature that Carter supporters would think the hostage issue cost him the election, but Jeff Greenfield, you have been in politics or covering politics most of your adult life. How accurate a perception do you think that is?
In 1980, there was rampant inflation, there was an industrial recession. Almost half the Democratic Party didn't even want Jimmy Carter to be their nominee, so you could argue the hostage release would not have decided the election. But it is clear, Ted, looking back, the Reagan campaign was obsessed with the issue. They believed a hostage release was the only way Jimmy Carter's election could be saved. Indeed, they believed him capable of playing politics with that issue, and they had an intelligence operation literally looking at airports around the country and around the world for signs of movement of spare parts to Iran as a sign that hostages were about to be released.
Who was running that operation?
Well, it was set up, it was announced originally in July by William Casey.
There is one other issue that I've already mentioned but want to spell out in greater detail, the question of George Bush's involvement, specifically whether he was in Paris with William Casey in October. Jamshid Hashemi, who claims that he attended the summer meetings in Madrid, does not claim to have been at the Paris meetings. He does say, though, that his brother Cyrus was there, and that Cyrus later told him that George Bush took no part in the meetings. I'll have some closing thoughts in a moment. So what, when all is said and done, can we claim? Have we proved the existence of a conspiracy between agents of the Ayatollah Khomeini and the chairman of the Reagan-Bush presidential campaign? No. And if you judge this broadcast by that standard, we never had a hope of meeting your expectations. All we could do was ask questions, follow leads, check records, and request the cooperation of those with access to documents that are not accessible to us. That, and listen to literally dozens of conspiracy theories, most of which we haven't even mentioned tonight. Jamshid Hashemi, the only man alive who claims to have attended those Madrid meetings and is willing to talk about them, may not be the most credible witness in the world. But he told us where he was staying in Madrid and when, and the hotel records bore him out. We tried to prove that Bill Casey couldn't have been in Madrid at those times, but no one could tell us where he was. And a New York Times story written long before there was any breath of a conspiracy quoted a Reagan campaign official as saying Casey was out of the country. An official inquiry would cost a lot of money, but it might tell us if some of the people who led this country during the 1980s stole an election and broke the law. It might also tell us that they didn't, and that would be worth a lot. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
Nightline is a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.